Hey guys, welcome back. So today I want to talk about renting video games. Now, as I mentioned in my video about when we got our Nintendo, my first experiences with really playing the Nintendo was renting the system. We didn't get our Nintendo until the summer of '89, so we definitely were renting the Nintendo in '88. I don't think we were in '87. We might have been, but I really doubt it. But in '88, we were definitely renting the Nintendo. And I may have played it like at a demo kiosk at Target or something like that. But if I was going to really sink my teeth into a Nintendo game, we were renting the console on a couple games until that summer of '89 that we got our Nintendo. So I've mentioned that I moved, and that does change a little bit where we rented games and movies at. So like my original house, or what I consider my childhood house, we primarily rented all of our stuff from a local grocery store. And, time is of the essence. Like when you are going to the grocery store to rent a game or a movie, but especially from this grocery store, they only had one copy of each. One copy of each game, one copy of each movie. That was it. So it was pretty easy to be disappointed, but you were always going to leave with something because your parents said, yes, you can rent something. Like you're leaving with the game or you're leaving with the movie, whichever. So as we're in the car going to the store, all the stuff's running through my head. This is what I want to rent. These are the games that I want. And it was anxious, like you didn't know if you were going to get what you wanted, and you had to wait the whole drive to the store. And then when we got to the store, I'd get out of the car and I'd be so excited that I'd want to run into the store. But my mom didn't like that because it would kind of make a scene. So like I'd kind of walk, and I'd walk like really fast, and sometimes I can remember almost like jumping a little bit. Like my legs were moving so quick that maybe like I skipped, And then I would, tone it back down so I was walking, because she'd say, she'd give me a look, or she'd yell my first name and middle name, and then you knew you were in trouble. And I would do that up until I got into the store. And then when you get into the store, you can't run or really walk fast because you got this whole conglomeration of people coming and going and getting their shopping carts and all this stuff. So it's very congested. And when you walk in, the very first aisle, to the right was the deli. So there's a seating area, the cashier, the deli that has all the salads and everything that's there, and then the bakery where all the cakes are at, all under glass. And in the middle of that aisle was produce. So that first aisle was usually pretty busy. So when I would get into the store, I'd look at the first aisle, see how many customers there were in that aisle, and then I'd look at the second aisle. And if there was less people in the second aisle, I'd go to that aisle, and I would I'd like power walk or walk really fast down the aisle if there was people in the aisle. But if there was nobody in there, I'd sprint. I'd haul butt all the way through that aisle, get to the end of it, slam on the brakes before I got out and into the next open area where the aisles end at, so I didn't run into someone. And I'd get to that video game wall. So the service counter was back there in the corner, and there was doors back there to go back into the storeroom of the store, and that's where they just put all the video games like on one wall of that hallway. And then all of the VHS movies were on an end cap. Like the shelves come to an end, they built a wall on that end, and then they built two walls coming off of it. So there was 5 sides where they could display the movies. And the movies in the video game they were all in these plastic sleeves, and the walls were that pegboard like you would hang in your garage. You'd hang tools off the metal pegs. That's what it was. It totally looked homemade. So the video games were all on that one wall, and nothing was alphabetized, nothing was organized by genre. It was all organized by system. And if you wanted NES, here's all your games. Or if you wanted Super NES or Genesis, here's all your games. You just look at the wall and try to spot your game as quick as you can. For the VHS titles, those were organized by genre, but I'm pretty sure they weren't alphabetized. Like each side of the wall had its own genre, and the more popular genres obviously had more sections of the wall. So run back there, And since you got to scan this whole wall for the game that you want and they're not alphabetized, I would memorize the box art. So I'd scan the wall, look for my box art, there it is, grab the sleeve, like all of the art was in these plastic sleeves that had a hole in them so they could hang on that peg. And then you'd walk around the wall, go up to the service counter, give the lady or the guy that was working there your sleeve. They'd go under the counter where all the games and the movies are at, pull your thing out that you rented, and they would give you your games, and they were all in these generic plastic cases. And pretty much always when you rented a Nintendo game, you never got instructions. And I think it was around 1990. It only happened a couple of times, but there was a couple of times that I rented games and the case had this plastic, glossy sticker on it. Maybe it wasn't plastic, but it had this glossy sticker on it, and it had, the title of the game, how to play, what you were supposed to do, and then the controls. And I can remember thinking, this is great, because every single time I rented a Nintendo game, I didn't know how to play it. I didn't know what the buttons were. Now, for most games, that's not a problem. You've only got a D-pad and 2 buttons, but if there was some weird button combination where you had to press a direction on the D-pad plus the B button or the A button or something, it'd take a while to figure that out. So, you grab your game off the wall, you're super excited, you take it home, and now it's experimentation time because you got to figure out, how do you play this game? Because there was no internet, and you didn't have an instruction manual. So the few times that I got those titles that had the sticker on there, I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Everything I need is right here. I can go home, I can read this on the way home in the car, pop this sucker in, and I can start playing and enjoying the game. And it does seem like that changed a little bit when we got into the 16-bit era. I can remember games coming with photocopied instruction manuals. Not all of them, but most of the time. The odds were better that you would actually get a photocopied instruction manual versus nothing, when you got an 8-bit Nintendo game. And so when we ended up moving, we still went to that same chain of grocery store, but there was also a strip mall right next to the grocery store, and there was a locally owned mom and pop video rental store there. So that was pretty nice, because what we would do is we would go to the grocery store first. If they didn't have what I wanted, you just walk through the parking lot and go right over to the other video rental store and see if they got it. Because the selections were about the same. The video rental store had way more movies than the grocery store could handle, but the video game selection was pretty close to being the same. And it was also the same in that there was only one copy of each game. So it kind of doubled my chances. And then in it must have been late 93 or early 94, we got a Blockbuster in town, which really changed everything. And I'm sure you guys that are my age, you might have had the same experience in that Blockbuster had inventory. I can remember calling up the Blockbuster, and I'm sure the guy was annoyed with me because instead of asking him, what video game systems do you rent games for? I asked him, do you guys rent for Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Sega CD? I started rattling everything off, and the guy's like, yep, where I should have just asked him, what systems do you rent for? And then he could have rattled everything off, and that way I wasn't asking him 4, 5, 6 questions. So they had inventory, and that's when renting changed. We had already moved by the time Blockbuster came in, and that's where me and all my friends were going. Eventually all the mom and pop locally owned stores went out of business. The grocery store quit renting video games, and they rented movies until, I don't know, the mid-2000s. They've had Redbox for probably, 15, 16, 17 years. So it was his own separate building. And when we would get into the parking lot, I would get out of the car and I would scan the parking lot to see if there was other kids in the parking lot. Because if there was, I was getting to that door before they were, because I in my mind, I increased my odds of getting what I wanted by beating everybody else in there. And you could look in the front of the store, the Blockbusters all had the windows around it on the outside in the front. And in ours, you would walk into the main door and the video games were right off to the right. So I'd be looking in there. Is there anybody, perusing the video games? No. Is there any kids out here that might be renting some video games? No. So then we just casually walk in. But at that age, I was older and I would sprint to the store. Like maybe my mom gave up on yelling at me. I don't really remember, but I can remember us parking, although we were much closer to the entrance door than we were at the grocery store. And the parking lot wasn't quite as dangerous, as a grocery store where you've got the parking lot and the lane in front of the store. So of course your parents aren't going to want you to run out of the parking area into that main lane and get hit by a car. And the Blockbuster wasn't like that, obviously. But I would, if there was kids in that got out of a car the same time as I did, I raced to that frickin' door and I'd get in there before them and I'd get to the section of whatever I was renting. And I think there it was alphabetized. Because I just feel like I had a much easier time finding games when I was there, so it must have been alphabetized. Yeah, everything changed when Blockbuster came to town. The mom and pop stores were kind of nice, because sometimes they'd be a little lenient, if you were late or whatnot. And it seems like everything was a one-night rental until Blockbuster came to town. And then it might have been like a 2-night, and then eventually it went all the way up to 5 nights. It seemed like I was renting a game and I was renting it for a whole week. And if it was a short enough game, I could almost play through it all and take it back and be like, done, I'm not buying that thing. But anyways, I've got a stack of video games sitting over here that are just some titles that I remember renting. Some of them I had fun with and some of them I didn't. So I'm probably not going to talk about those games throughout any other episodes. So I figured this would be a good episode to highlight them. Alright guys, so our first game is Back to the Future. So I did not see Back to the Future when it first came out in theaters in '85. We didn't rent it until '89. And I think the reason we rented it was because the second one was out in theaters at the time. And I don't know, we just decided to rent the first one as a family. We watched it as a family. We loved it. It is one of my favorite movies of all time. And we liked it so much that we went and saw the second one that day in theaters, which was so awesome. I remember being so psyched. I'm like, this is so cool. I just saw the first Back to the Future and it's awesome. Now I'm going to see the second one and this is the greatest day ever. And I like cars. And the first car that I really fell in love with was the DeLorean. As a kid, you see those gull-wing doors go up and you're just like, that is the coolest thing ever. So the DeLorean was my favorite car for quite a while. Anyways, I was a fan of the movies, so I rent the game, and I really don't like it that much. I just remember skating down the street, getting attacked by bees, throwing bowling balls at people, those two guys with that pane of glass walking back and forth. And I kind of remember thinking, this is what the game is about? Where's the DeLorean? I don't know. I didn't really like it. I wasn't very good at it. And the music is extremely repetitive. So I didn't know at the time about LJN. You can see the LJN rainbow on there. I didn't know about the breadth of the quality of LJN games that there was. So kind of a disappointing rental. Rented it once. Oh, I should mention that. A lot of times when I rented a game, I rented it once and that was it. And I'm guessing that's because of the availability. The grocery store and the locally owned stores only had one copy of each game. So one weekend I might be able to get it. The next weekend I'm going to my dad's. The next weekend, maybe I got it, maybe I didn't. Maybe there was something else I wanted to play. So that'll come up later here in the video, but most of the time my rentals were just a single rental and that was it. Battletoads has probably the best pause music of any game ever created. Enjoyed the game until I got to the turbo tunnels. I couldn't get past the turbo tunnels, so I enjoyed the first level, beating people up, and then going down that tunnel and swinging, and then I get to the turbo tunnels, and that's it. So also, like, I enjoyed what little I could play of it, but really in the ending, it was kind of a disappointing rental because I couldn't get very far in the game. It was just too hard. Bionic Commando. This was the first game I played where you couldn't jump. And so, like, I had to reteach myself how to play a video game because we mostly play, or I shouldn't say we, I played a lot of platformers. And so I'm used to jumping all the time. And then I get this game where I can't jump. I have to use my bionic arm to, advance up those, they're kind of like towers, to go up to the next level of the tower, or attach it onto like the light and swing across the gap. So like once I retrained myself how to play a game, I guess you could say, Bionic Commando is fantastic. It was really fun. The swinging mechanics were really enjoyable. And it's just really weird at first. Once you get the hang of it, that's a really good game. Okay, so these next two games are games that I remember renting before we had our Nintendo. So this was go to the grocery store, rent the Nintendo, get a game or two. So these two are very early rentals for me and early games that I played on the Nintendo. And we got Castlevania. I'm pretty sure I found out about this game through word of mouth because Castlevania is amazing. I think I could only make it to the Mummies. I might have been able to make it to Frankenstein's Monster, but it seems like when I got to the Mummies, that usually did me in. Difficult game, especially for still difficult, but for a 10-year-old, it was really difficult. And the first game that I played where you had no mid-air jump control, you jumped, you had to commit to your jump, and then if you got hit, you suffered the knockback and probably fell down into a pit and lost your guy. And this next one is Mega Man 2. This is the first Mega Man game that I ever played. And the age-old question of which one do I think is better, Mega Man 2 or Mega Man 3? I prefer 2. It might be because it's the first one that I played. Like, I can remember sitting in our toy room. I can remember the layout of the room, which did change a little bit over time. But I can remember the layout of the room when I played Mega Man 2. And I can remember the levels, and when I play this game, it just transports me right back there. And I don't get that with Mega Man 3. I really couldn't tell you which one's better gameplay-wise, but I love popping in 2 more because it just brings the memories back. Ninja Gaiden. So the thing that really appealed to us in this game, aside from the fact that you are a ninja, which ninjas are amazing, everything was all about ninjas in the 80s, was that you could wall jump. We had never played a game where you could, wall jump, that first level where you finally get to the part where there's a really high wall and you're jumping off the wall and onto the business sign and going back and forth. Like, that was the whole thing that drew us to this game, was like, you can wall jump in this game. And sometimes, I think we almost just rented it and played it just for that. But when it comes to wall jumping, I like how Batman does it. There's like weight to the jump. Like, you jump onto the wall with Batman and you can kind of see him like push off. And I don't know, it just feels better. Still, this is a fantastic game, but if I just feel like the need to wall jump, I'm grabbing Batman. Here's Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. So when this movie came out, I saw it in theaters and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. In fact, when it came to the animated Disney movies, for the longest time, my favorite was the animated version of Robin Hood. And I was so young, I never knew who made it. I didn't know who Disney was when I first saw that because I was very young. I just remembered this animated Robin Hood movie with, the animals. That was all I really knew about it. But when Prince of Thieves came out, oh man, like this movie, it was fantastic. I still like it to this day. So when the game came out, I wanted to play it. In fact, I think this game actually might have been on the cover of a Nintendo Power. I feel like I came home from my dad's house one weekend and I had a Nintendo Power waiting for me and it had Prince of Thieves on it. But this is an adventure game, and adventure games really aren't my thing. Like, I could never really figure out where to go, but I haven't played this game in a long time, but it must lead you along. Like, it's not like Zelda where they just dump you in this open map and you got to figure it out. I remember you start in the prison, you got to break out of the prison with a Zeme. So it must lead you along, but it's like top-down view, and I don't know, I really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Here is our final game, and that is The Rocketeer. This was the first movie I ever saw an early showing of. Our local theater was doing a Thursday night showing, and like the first 100 people or something that showed up got a pin, like a pin that you can button, onto your shirt. And so we went to the showing. I went with my friend, got the pin, which I don't have anymore. But again, really enjoyed the movie, wanted to play the video game. It's challenging, and I haven't played this in a while, but from what I can remember, using the jetpack seemed unwieldy. Like, there was times where it just didn't seem like it was very useful. Like, I really wanted to use it, but then when I used it, like, I just, took off, and I had issues controlling it, and I don't really remember using it a lot. I just remember it was just a pain to use. That's really the thing that I remember the most about this game. It was hard, and it was just a pain to use the rocket pack, or jetpack. Today we're playing 3 video games. The first 2 are games that I rented multiple times. And we got them for one night, and when it was time to take them back, I had so much fun that I wasn't done with them, and my parents allowed me to rent them again. The third game is a game that I rented that I had really high hopes for, and it left me disappointed. And I was only going to play 2 games. I was going to play one of the good games and then the disappointing game, but the 2 games that are good that I rented multiple times, I couldn't pick one over the other. So I decided, what the heck, I'll just play both. And in the spirit of going to the rental store, you never knew what you were going to get when you got there. And normally I tell you guys what game we're going to play, but I'm not doing that today. This is like us going to the rental store. You're not going to know what we came home with until that game boots up on the screen. So let's play some Nintendo games. Alright guys, our first game is The Punisher for NES. This is the level select screen. So these are like wanted posters. I don't know who these guys on the outside are as far as the Punisher's villains go, but this is Jigsaw in the middle here, and he's probably more well known now just because of the Marvel Netflix series and the Punisher Warzone movie that came out quite a while ago. So we're going to do his level. And every single time you start a level, you get this screen where Frank is justifying why he is going after Jigsaw. And I like this screen. I like how half of his face is covered in darkness and half of it's in the light. Because the Punisher is an anti-hero. A number of them were created in the 70s. And an anti-hero is a hero. He fights for the side of good, but they have no qualms about taking people's lives. So, Wolverine, the Winter Soldier, those are some of my favorite anti-heroes. The Red Hood, for you DC guys. So as you can see, this game it's a gallery shooter. So the screen just moves to the right and you mow down bad guys. I picked up a new weapon. This is I don't know, it just seems like an automatic rifle. So probably like an M4 or an M16. Your base weapon, I think it's an Uzi. But when you run out of ammo for this gun, you will go back to the standard Uzi. You gotta shoot objects in this game, like I'm shooting the pier. You gotta shoot parts of the background so that items will appear. there's a newspaper up there, so you shoot the newspaper, it'll give you a tip. I really like how it says it's the Daily Bugle. Kind of ties, ties the Marvel Universe together, which is kind of fitting because Punisher's first appearance was in Amazing Spider-Man. Holy cow. That icon that I just shot right there, that is a magazine, so you get more ammo. That's a grenade. You can also get upgrades to the grenades. You can get a rocket launcher. Oh. That's a bummer. So there's body armor. That will extend the length of my health meter, which is great. This guy right here in the green, with the beret, I think he looks like Stalker from G.I. Joe. Okay, so there's a rocket launcher. So that's the upgrade for our, secondary weapon, explosive weapon. I don't know what they actually call it in the game, but so we got another fully automatic rifle. The thing about this game that's kind of hard is like dodging their fire. When you press right or left on the D-pad, it moves the aiming reticle, and then Frank slides along the bottom of the screen. Sometimes it just doesn't really work out that well to avoid enemy fire. You've got to move away from the fire, which you're then taking the reticle away from the enemy that's shooting you, just so that you can reposition Frank on the screen. So this is a prison. So I think what the gist is that Jigsaw's like taking over the prison. So we're taking care of all of his henchmen outside the prison. So this is kind of like his base of operations. And the next stage we will go into the prison, and then on the third stage we will fight Jigsaw himself. Alright, stage 1 complete. We'll see how good we did. Not terrible. You'll get bonuses for the higher percentage of enemies killed. Actually, that's pretty good. Alright, now we're inside the prison, mowing down bad guys. So I've mentioned before that we moved. We moved like Labor Day weekend of '91. And what I sometimes refer to as my childhood home or the old house, that is when I rented this game. It was before we moved. And primarily in that house, when we rented games or movies, we rented them from a local grocery store. It was a chain, started here in Iowa, called Hy-Vee. They might be in other areas of the Midwest, I really don't know. But they got in on the whole rental craze. And you would go into the store, and in the back of the store by the service counter would be where all the games and the movies were at. Now, when you rented a game or movie from them, you only got it for one night. So that plastic clamshell case that I showed earlier, they had a little sticker on theirs, and it said like, due back next day, and then it had the face of a clock on there to show what the time was, and I think it was like 2, 3, or 4 p.m. Oh, so there's a free guy. That's what a free guy looks like. It's just the Punisher symbol. Yeah, it was either 2, 3, or 4 p.m. that you had to take it back. So it was kind of a bummer. Like, my parents would get home, and I don't remember what time they got home. Probably 5, maybe 5:30. So depending on what we were doing for dinner that night, we might not be getting to the rental store until 6, 6:30, 7. And when I rented this, I was still in school, and so I had, you know, a bedtime because it was, I was in school at the time. It was winter. I think, yeah, it was winter when we rented this. And so if it's, even on the weekends, I still had a bedtime, so it's probably, I think it was like 8:30, maybe 9. So you rent this thing, you get home at 7 p.m., and you've only got until 9 to play it, or 8:30. And then you got to return it back to the store by 2, 3, or 4 p.m. And we didn't take stuff back to the store like 5 minutes before it was due. It was, my parents had to drive me, so I was on their time. So if we were leaving, like if they wanted to leave at noon to run errands and do stuff, well, that's when my game was going back, which was always kind of a bummer. This is a bonus stage, so you shoot the go arrow. Like if you're low on ammo, it's always a good idea to go to a bonus stage. So it really sucked because you didn't even get a game for a full 24 hours and you had to take it back. So this is the first game that I can remember renting, and when we went back, I just wasn't done playing it. I had a blast. And I rented it for another night. So we must have rented it on a Friday. Maybe it was a Friday that I didn't go to Chris's for some reason. Because I would have rented it Friday night and Saturday night, and then we would have taken it back on Sunday. I don't remember us renting games or movies, on a Sunday to then return on a Monday. But this was the first time I did that. So my parents allowed me to rent it again, and I got it for another night. And I really like this game. It's an LJN game, so LJN is usually the kiss of death when it comes to licensed properties. And not that this game has a lot of depth, but I mean, it's a fairly solid game. It's fun. It can get a little repetitive. Once you've played through a couple levels, you have pretty much seen what the game is all about. But at the time, it was really cool. There's these destructive environments. I mean, that's still cool to this day. I love blowing up the environment and seeing what all I can destroy. So we gotta be getting close to the end of this level. Good Lord. All right, now on to Jigsaw. Didn't do as good this time. So he'll shoot you from there, and then he'll come up in front of you. This part kind of sucks. So what I try to do is I activate my kick before he's like right in front of me. That way, when he gets in front of me, I'm kicking him in the face. So there you go. Jigsaw's dead. He slapped the rest in peace sticker on his wanted poster. And then we go back to the level select screen. We can do another level again. This other game that I'm going to show you, it actually came out before The Punisher, like a couple years before The Punisher. So you might be surprised. I'm actually going to play these like in chronological order of when I played them. So Punisher, the next game, and then the game after that. This is how I experienced them as a kid. So let's get on to the next game. Alright guys, we are playing Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! So like I said, this game came out a couple years before The Punisher. I think I played this in 91. I think it was fall of 91, just because of where we had our Nintendo at in the house. We had it down in this corner of the basement, and that's where I remember playing this game. I rented this game and absolutely just fell in love with it. Had so much fun. And after my 2-day rental was up, I was still craving to play the game. So then when the next weekend came along, I rented it again. And it was probably a while because if I would have gone to my dad's house, I probably would have rented it, gone to my dad's house, and then rented it again back home. So over the span of a few weeks. Yeah, this game's great. I'm not a fan of boxing. Of course, I wasn't back then either, but everybody knew who Mike Tyson was. Alright, we got some stars. Alright, throw a punch at me, dude. Boom. I really try to use my stars as soon as I get them, because it never fails that I get hit. And if you knock a guy down in the same round 3 times, you get a TKO, so he is down. You know, this game is all about reading your opponent's tells and memorization, which I'm not the greatest at. I get a little anxious and nervous sometimes when I play this, and I just end up dodging early or just screwing up. So my goal with this playthrough is to get to Bald Bull. Oops. And I never played this in the arcade. I don't even remember when I found out that this was an arcade game. Ooh, that was close. But yeah, I never played this in the arcade. I don't even know if I played the arcade game actually to this day. Dang. Yeah, the goal is to get to Bald Bull. I always have problems with punching tiger, flying tiger, whatever the heck his name is. I don't know. That guy gives me issues. Like, I know you gotta watch the jewel in his head, but I don't know, I get all anxious and twitchy. Oh, I screwed that up. Let's throw him punch and get an uppercut in there. There we go. But I really hope to, I should be able to beat him, but I really want to because I like the little training montage screen. Ooh. Oh my god, I can't believe that went through. Boom. Uh-oh. And boom. That should be it. Right, that's three. That's 3. Yep. Alright, cool. I've beaten Bald Bull, but you fight Piston Honda after Bald Bull, and he is way harder, and I just have not put in the time or the effort to memorize all that, so yeah, that's the goal. So here's the montage I was talking about. I don't know, I like this. You're, I don't know, running through the park or whatever, and there's this New York City behind you. Eventually the Statue of Liberty will come into view here. But it reminds me of Rocky because, like, he's got his workout outfit on, it's pink, and I think Rocky, didn't he have one that was all gray, like the sweatpants and the hooded sweatshirt and everything? That's where he's jogging up the steps in Philadelphia and all that stuff. I thought this guy's name was Don Flamingo for the longest time, and it's not Flamingo. And this is the way that you can beat this guy. He cannot get out of this unless I screw it up. I can take his energy all the way down to nothing. There we go. Oh. Up at 3? Really? Alright. If I can do this right, this will be it. Then I believe King Hippo's next. I like King Hippo. When I was a kid, I always wanted to get to King Hippo, and sometimes I always couldn't, but boy, if I got to King Hippo, it just thrilled me. I'm like, oh yeah, King Hippo, the fat guy that's got like the tape on his belly button or whatever, and his weight is like question mark. His age is question mark too, but he doesn't even have a weight. And the trick to King Hippo is you gotta punch him in the mouth when he opens his mouth. And then you just punch him in the belly. Oh, I screwed that up. I believe that when you knock him down, he does not get back up. Like, I think this is it. Look at his eyes. No, that's it. Knockout. Alright, next is, what's his name? Great Tiger. Yeah, this guy, I couldn't get past him as a kid. If I beat King Hippo, this was my end point. I still struggle with this guy. I might not get past him. Dang it. Oh, shoot. Alright, maybe I can get him out of here before this round ends. The rounds are 3 minutes long. There's only 3 rounds. Oh god, here we go. Oh. Ah. I blocked. I stayed blocking. All this is cool. You get to see this screen. Like, I have like no facial damage and he's got that bandage over his eye. Little stuff like that is it's really cool. Like, small touches like that make a big difference in numerous things. Oh, God. Is that it? Probably not. Oh. Oh. Alright. Oops. I was waiting for him to do an uppercut. Shoot. I really botched that round up. So you gotta press the buttons rapidly to get back up. Oh, geez. And now I'm out of stamina. And then we'll do that and get a super uppercut in. There we go. This round's almost over. Oh, come on. Alright, we're doing this in round 3. God. Like, that's what I dreaded as a kid. Obviously, you can still see it impacts me to this day. Oh, sweet. Oh. Oh, dang it. Crap. I thought I got a hit in. Alright. Oh, crap. I don't think I'm getting up from this. I hate you, Flying Tiger, whatever the hell your stupid name is. Alright, let's do a rematch. Alright, now does he throw uppercuts now? If I can just get him down again. There we go, that's it. TKO. Alright, now I move on to Bald Bull. He is the major circuit heavyweight dude. he looks so big on the screen. Like, he just looks massive. Sucks. I don't know how to get, like, there's certain ways to get stars on all these boxers. You gotta hit them in the right moment and you'll get a star. And I don't know what it is for him. Got him. Here we go again. Got him. Oh, crap, that's it. TKO. Alright. So now I'm the minor and major belt holder. And we can go on to the next circuit, which is, I don't know if it's all rematches until you get to Mike Tyson. But I know that the first match is Piston Honda, and I won't be able to get past him. You can see Doc is just working us all day. It's kind of cool, the Statue of Liberty is all lit up. All right. Oh. Oh God. How do you... I just don't know how to combat any of this. Fudge. Well, there's no way I'm gonna beat this guy. I don't have a clue. God, I'd love to just get a super uppercut on him, but even that's not gonna happen. Dodge his punch, then counter punch. I mean, I'm still trying to use... Oh. Oh, wow. I didn't think I was going to get up from that. Can I get one uppercut on you? No. Oh, boy. Not getting up? Yeah, not getting up. Alright, well, that's the end of this. I'm not going to try again. But this is Punch-Out for the NES. This game is fantastic. It is so good. Made me a Punch-Out fan for life. So our next game, our last game, is these first two games were the good games. These are the good memories. This last game was a huge disappointment when I rented it. It was a game I was really looking forward to playing, and I believe I spent my own allowance money on the rental, and it was very disappointing. The game, I just wasn't really quite sure what to do. It was difficult, and I got nowhere in the game, and it just really stung. And so I have it in my collection for that reason. There's the memory of just being utterly disappointed by it, but it's still a good memory when I think about it. I don't know, that seems kind of weird. So anyways, let's get to our last game. All right, guys, our final game of the episode, Dick Tracy for the Nintendo. So I saw Dick Tracy in theaters. I really enjoyed it. And in fact, I remember telling my stepdad about it. And he's like, "Oh yeah, Dick Tracy," and I was confused. I was like, "What do you know about Dick Tracy?" And he's like, "Yeah, Dick Tracy was around when I was a kid." And I'm like, "What? I thought this was new." It was like the first time that I experienced old properties being brought back. So my stepdad knew all about it, and was telling me stuff, and so that was kind of cool, I guess. So right here, the chief actually gives you this game is kind of cryptic, but the chief actually gives you, what you're supposed to do here. Basically, is don't shoot unarmed thugs and follow the clues. So our case, there's 5 cases in this game, and this is the bogus bucks. Fake $20 bill used near Steve the Tramp's flop house. And you can see on the screen here, Dick Tracy's communicator watch is flashing. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And now that we have Apple Watches, like we have the Dick Tracy watch, like it's so awesome. Like I wanted one of those so bad. I was like, oh man, if that watch was real, I'd totally have it. It's so cool. So anyways, this is our case. So we got to go to mugshots because we got to find Steve the Tramp. So Steve the Tramp was last seen at 5th and B Flophouse. And these are all of like Big Boy's associates. So Steve the Tramp, that's Flat Top, Shoulders, Numbers. This guy up here, Rodent, I think he looks like Frank Miller, the comic book writer and artist. So anyways, Steve the Tramp, 5th and B Flophouse. So now we hit the streets. And the streets in this town are a complete active war zone. There are snipers on buildings, and they will wreck you. They will absolutely do you in. I already got shot by one. When I was a kid, I always just tried to outrun them. Yeah, you don't want to outrun them. You want to shoot them and kill them. So here's our 5th and B flop house. A is jump, B is to attack. You press select, we can pull out our handgun, which we can only use against armed thugs. So this guy is not armed, so we can punch him. You can see that boxing glove thing up there, that's a power-up. I think there's a guy that's armed up here at the top of the stairs. Or maybe not. So to like pick up items in this game, you gotta punch them. So now we have 10 super punches. But I'm pretty sure there's an armed guy over here. Okay, that guy's armed. Now, the thing about that is that all of the armed thugs, maybe even all the thugs that do melee, they all wear the exact same color suits. So I didn't really see what color that guy's suit was, but whatever color that guy's suit was, those are the guys that are going to be armed with guns. Take care of that guy. Alright, so that guy is armed. keep feeling like there's armed thugs everywhere. There's also in this, yeah, here we go. Okay, it's up here. I'm getting ahead of myself. You can see below me on that light stand, there's like a heart. That's a first aid kit. I don't recall even knowing that first aid kits were a thing in this game when I was a kid. So we punch that, we can pick up the first aid kit. That will fully heal us. And we'll just move along. Super punch that guy. Okay, there's a guy up here that's armed. Got him. And so down here, there's a door to leave, but you can see that guy in the green. He's not moving. So that's one of Big Boy's henchmen. And I'm pretty sure that that guy that I just punched, I'm pretty sure there's melee guys that you have to hit multiple times. They're not one-shots. I think that was one of them, but the super punch will take him down in one hit. So we want to interrogate this guy. Fake bills. Ironed at 20 unloading crates at the 9th and F pier. So that's our next destination. Hit the streets. You saw that yellow car that's there. You will actually lose health if you get into traffic accidents, which sometimes is ridiculous because it's like out of your control. Like I'll just come like barreling in and hit you and you take damage. I think it's the next building. Yeah. Oh. Ooh, got him. Wait. You automatically get back in your car when you get close to it, so there's times where I will accidentally get in my car. So let's park right here. 9th and F pier. Now on the pier, if you jump wrong, you can fall into the water and you'll lose health. And the jumping can get tricky. This jump right here, sometimes I screw up just like that. So you see I lost lost health. Alright, let's try this again. Alright. I know there's a guy over here that's armed. That guy sometimes does some serious damage to me. He'll just start unloading. I think there's a guy up here that's... Oh, that guy's armed. Go up here. That guy's not moving. He's probably one of those strong melee attackers. So there's our clue. We gotta go over to our clue and punch it. Footprints in puddle of spilled green ink. So each one of these areas will have one clue for you to find. And you find the clue, and then you can leave. Alright. There it says door. I'm pretty sure that that won't say door unless you find the clue. I could be wrong about that. So now we get our car. Interrogate this guy, fake bills. I just take crates to the 4th and D warehouse. So that's where we're going next. Now, here's the predicament that I'm in, is I only have one shield thing left. I can't use my first aid kit on the screen. So I could die right here and it's game over. There's no continues. Fourth and D. All right. Let's use our first aid kit. I really hate to use this. All right, so all the guys in white. And we just keep moving along until we find our clue. I probably already mentioned this, but it definitely helps to know where all of the armed guys are at. How do I get up here? Can I get up there? It looks like a stairwell, but I don't think I can actually... Oh, okay, here's our clue. All right. Blank money paper and invoice from the First and H print shop. Probably annoying watching me inch along the screen here, but this game will just wreck you if you're not careful, and I don't expect to beat this case today, but I'm hoping to. Okay, First and H print shop. It's been a while since I've seen a sniper. One in G. One in H. Alright. So right up there on the top of the screen, upper left, that's a Tommy gun. Kind of looks like one, kind of doesn't. That guy's kneeling down up there, so he's probably a... Yep, he's armed. He got me. I have 35 rounds for my handgun. I like the handgun. I don't think I'm going to get the Tommy gun. The Tommy gun, sometimes when I push the B button to shoot it, it doesn't shoot. Let's go down here and punch this guy in the face. I mean, you don't really need you don't need to be spraying bullets all over the place in this game to kill people. You know, it's one shot with your pistol, and as long as you make contact, they are dead. So, claim ticket, 4th NB shoe repair. Alright. There's our door. And now we'll go to 4th and B. Oops. Oh, there's a sniper in that building over there. Oh, shh. Fourth and D. Fourth and B. Alright. Isn't that guy fashionable in his bright pink suit? Our armed guys are, I don't know, salmon colored. Ooh, he's a strong one. I wonder why they have a strong one over here. Huh. I saw that shooter up there on the 2nd level. Take this guy. There he is right there. Got him. There's a clue. Shoes with green ink on soles being fixed for Numbers. So Numbers is one of Big Boy's henchmen. We saw him in the mugshots. He's the dude with the glasses. So we gotta find Numbers. In fact, we probably gotta go back and look at the mugshots. See where Numbers hangs out. Police station's around here somewhere. There's a frickin' car. Yeah, you go the other way, please. Alright, enter door, thank you. Mugshots. Numbers is the 8th and J Hotel. So if we look at our notepad, we should have all of our stuff on there, all of our clues. Yep. And now we'll hit the streets. Go to the 8th and J Motel. This should be 8th, yep, 8th and C. Alright. Be on the lookout for snipers. There's one. Oh, there's another police station. There's a sniper. Eighth and J. Here we go. should be... I gotta be guys armed all over the place here. So it's the guys in the white suits. Ooh. Take this guy out. I've accidentally shot unarmed thugs because I've been trying to shoot someone else. And that really sucks because you lose health. Wait for him to come down here and punch him right in the face. And alright. Go back up here. Oh. Oh, okay. Switch back to handgun. Alright. Oh, that's apparently a brick wall or something. Go back down here. Punch this dude in the face. That was close. Dang it. I thought I got him. Alright, is there stairs? Okay, yeah. Take this guy out. Oh, he took like multiple hits, but he gave us a first aid kit. Holy crap, these guys on meth or what? Good lord. We gotta be getting close. Part of me thinks I should use that first aid kit now, but... Alright, there. Oh, Jesus. Arrest him. Okay, Tracy, you got me. I did it. Great job. Only you could have figured that one out, Tracy. And so ends the career of another one of Big Boy's thugs. And then you get the combination to the next case, so you can skip this one. And we actually beat a case. So that's Dick Tracy for the Nintendo. A game that really disappointed me when I was a kid. I really wanted to like this game so bad, and I didn't. I felt like I had wasted my money, like I'd got cheated. I got lucky in that I really didn't rent a lot of what I would call bad games. The only other one I could think of, which I don't own in my collection, is Total Recall. That game sucks. It plays like crap. but I don't remember the feel of disappointment like this one. Like I love Dick Tracy, and boy, I was just crushed when I played this game, and it just kicked my butt. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and we will see you next time.